Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We've got another Kingdom Hearts 3 news update today, focused entirely on the new information and footage we got from the KH3 premiere preview event this Friday. There's quite a bit to go over, so let's get to it. I think the best way to start is to go over the content in the demo that the press and some lucky YouTubers that aren't me got to play. In it, there were two slices of gameplay that you could choose from. The first one was pretty short. It was Olympus with the Rock Titan set piece, where you were able to go face off against him, as well as some waves of Heartless, and get an idea of what some of the big set pieces of the game are going to be. And of course, that's the first world in the game. Gives you a good idea of setting the tone, I feel. The second piece that you were able to check out was the Toy Story world, which they had in its entirety. Of course, players were not able to go through the entire thing because they had 90 minutes to play, but they were able to get a good scope of what an entire Kingdom Hearts 3 world is like. And even then, they said that most people only played about a third of it, which I have to wonder how big these things are. They might be fudging the percentages on that. Anyway, while I was scripting the video, GameSpot had actually put up a 25-minute video, uncut, of the Toy Story portion of the demo. And it was the only place to see the cutscenes in full, as well as with their audio intact. Direct audio and voice acting, which is really great. Of course, you only get 25 minutes of that footage, so you don't see the entire world, but it gave us a good idea of what the cutscenes are like, what the presentation is like, how the voice acting sounds, who is returning for their roles, of course, and we got to see how the gameplay is meshed in there, and I'm going to give you impressions of that without spoilers. So, big takeaways. When in terms of the dub, because this was English dub finally, they started working on the English dub as early as mid-February, according to some sources that I actually managed to grab. Haley Joel Osment as Sora is turning in my opinion, his best performance since KH2, where the voice director has finally said, you know what? You can go a little bit deeper in your performance, because in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, Haley Joel Osment turned in a pretty spotty performance with his voice because he had to go really high and try and sound more like a kid, which you can't do when you're closing in on 30 at the time, and it ended up being spotty. However, here, he's delivering really, really good reads, and I enjoyed the entire thing. It didn't take me out of it in the slightest. Donald and Goofy are about just as good as you'd expect, and Woody and Buzz are clearly not done by their original actors, unfortunately. They're high-profile actors, well, Tom Hanks is, so they didn't end up getting them. They got some decent voice matches. However, Woody's is a good bit different than you can clearly tell, but you easily get used to it, and it's still a good performance regardless. Hammond and Rex, however, are the original voice actors, which was really great because I enjoy their voices just as much, if not more, than Woody and Buzz in general, so I'm really happy that they carried over. Now, let's go beyond the voice acting and talk a little bit about the presentation of these scenes, the direction, because Kingdom Hearts normally, if you want to go with like Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, have a specific style of cutscene, where a lot of the time they will have different models loaded in depending on the shot. You'll notice sometimes Sora's face will look flat as a board with a default face that looks like it was drawn on with crayon. And then other moments he has perfectly modeled face with lip flaps, and you can see his eyes move around, and you can clearly tell that's the budget cutscene. That's the budget part of the whole thing, and it is jarring. This, you don't experience that because they're using their high-quality models in the scene. You don't have to worry about any of that throughout any of these scenes, so they always look at their best, and all of the shots are very dynamic and well-placed, and the scenes are fun to look at, and their performances are really good. So overall, I would say the scenes I saw in the Toy Story world are easily in the top 5% of Kingdom Hearts cutscenes, period, just based on everything going into it. And I think the one thing that makes them perfect is how cohesive they are within the gameplay as well, because they seamlessly pan the camera back by the end of the cutscene to a position where they can overlay the game's UI on top and throw you right back into the gameplay. And that means quite a bit when it comes to immersing yourself within the game, and is easily the best part of everything I saw there. Just seamlessly putting you back into the gameplay, and then say they give you the cutscene, they seamlessly set up the gameplay, you jump in, you beat it, they have that typical slow motion fade to white, and then the white cuts to a scene, rinse, repeat. It's a really, really good process, and it's great to see that. Another thing that they also included is the fact that normally there were talking bubbles whenever you would go and interact with an NPC. That's gone now. They now do a dynamic shift of the camera. They zoom in on you talking to the person, and that section is fully voiced now. So there is no non-voice stuff in the game. In addition, when you're running around the world, characters will talk. Like Goofy's like, oh, maybe we should go over here. Or Woody says, Galaxy Toys is on the other side of town. So we now have moments where they will just talk. And it's not that stupid AAA thing of, we're going to make you walk really slowly and talk plotty. It's like, no, as you're running, you get a little bit more information. And it isn't repeated constantly, I don't think, as far as I know. So I think it's a very good inclusion and a good quality of life thing, because I think a lot of us have always been thinking about Kingdom Hearts sequels with it's going to be trying to get as close to Cage 2 as possible, but this is a true sequel in pretty much every sense of the word. So I was very, very happy about the cutscenes, the presentation, how they mixed everything together, the performances, all of that was gravy. So I feel like we could talk a little bit about the gameplay at this point, because they introduced some new mechanics. One of them is something we've seen throughout. There were sections in various trailers where we saw Sora running up a wall when he was about to face off against the Rock Titan. And we now know that as a mechanic called Auto Run. Now, any surface in the game, seems like any wall in the entire game, will have this weird glowy, like, wave of light texture that's scrolling up the surface. And if you run against it, you'll just run up. And if you go left, you'll go left. You go right, you go right. So Sora's just free to just run around the walls however he wants. He doesn't have to do the dumb flow motion glow or anything like that. He's just free to do it. It's a really good option for traversing the area, but it's also really good of running up, jumping off the wall, and starting an air combo. In addition, flow motion is in fact back, but you're only allowed to bounce against a wall once, so you can't loop it, which effectively makes flow motion not broken trash. So I'm very happy about that. Another mechanic that was present throughout both demos is something we've seen throughout Cage 3's development. It's called Attraction Flow. If you remember, it's when they summon the train, the teacups, the boat. All those different Disney rides, given physical form, are called Attraction Flow. And we figured out how they proc. At first, some may think that, oh, you just gotta thumb through the menu to select it. No, it's a almost random occurrence. How it works is there are certain times where there will be a larger lock-on symbol on certain enemies. It's kind of like a big green crosshair. And if you hit the enemy quickly enough while it is present, you will then get a situation command on the left that you can activate to then do it. You're able to do that to do the big set piece finish against the Rock Titan, and you can do it in other situations as well. This is really great because this is yet another thing you don't have to worry about thumbing through a menu for, because Kingdom Hearts 3's focus seems to be keeping you out of that command menu and doing things organically as you play, and I think that's really cool. And I think that brings us to the next point of discussion, of course, the command menu itself. In Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, you had numerous things you could do in a menu. You guys have played it, right? You would hit left or right or whatever it was, and then you would switch the command menu to one that had summons, and then you switch to the other one that had drive forms in it. Well, this one doesn't do that. The only things you have in there are attack, magic, item, and link. Links are, of course, the summons in this game. Of course, at this point you would go, alright, so they don't have the attraction flow in there, so that's neat. The Keyblade transformations happen organically as you battle, but what's that little arrow pointing to the right that you always see? on the command bar. For the longest time, we thought that was the second, we thought that'd be how you open up the second set of commands. No, that's for your active keyblade switching. Yeah, this was a big shocker, but something we were really hoping for, because ever since they revealed keyblade transformations, we're like, oh man, we gotta pause the game and like switch and pick what keyblade we want. No, you can equip up to 3 keyblades and then switch them on the fly. And some people say you can do it mid-combo. Some people are saying that you can do it mid-transformation. So say I have the hammer activated, I switch keyblades, next thing I'm getting is the yo-yos, which really adds to the variety of the game. You can adjust your game plan on the fly, and I really like that. This one seems much less focused on meter management and technical stuff like KH2, and is giving you a lot more free-form options. And a lot of people may not like that. I adore how they're handling this, and I'm really excited. And we are now at a point where we have a combat system consisting of standard melee, magic, keyblade transformations, shot locks, which include regular shot locks of shooting a projectile depending on the keyblade, and flow chain, where you warp strike to an enemy like Noctis, and it usually lets you flip around them and traverse the area easier. You have that. Wall running, link summoning, attraction flow, and limits, which we don't know how to activate those yet, but we saw one with Donald doing Flare Force, and we saw the Woody and Buzz rocket. So, at this point in time, we have all of that without messing around in menus. You don't even have to move your menu button, because if you're good, you don't need items. It's like the only thing you would want is like activating your link so you can summon. Because you also get your shortcuts with magic. You have so much freedom. And there's, of course, a concern of feature creep, or too many things are happening at once, but all the previews I've seen say it's very intuitive, it's very easy to get into, just like a good combat system should be. Speaking of all these gameplay options, we were given 2 reveals in the form of a brand new Link and a brand new attraction. The Link, of course, is Wreck-It Ralph, who got leaked the day before the event and was shown in its full glory on Friday, which is today at the time of this recording. He is able to build various video game-like structures that have a field that boxes in the enemy and stuns them. And once you've laid them all or hit the finish command, he will wreck it and destroy everything. And then that deals massive damage to the enemies. He's a bit slower though, so he's a bit situational, but I really like his inclusion. The new attraction, which I could only find a Twitter video, credit to Tuminator from KH13.com, who was able to run into this thing. The attraction flow is called Splash Run. This where you control a ride that leaves a stream of water while you're crashing into enemies. So you'll run around and you'll be leaving behind, kind of like Snake, a large tail of water while crashing into enemies. And when time runs out, you will be sent backward through the stream you made. So you can make really big paths and get a lot of damage. Out of all the attraction flows, I think it's that one and the space shooting one that are my personal favorites. So I was really excited to see that earlier today. So aside from that, that's it. That's all the standard gameplay. There's, of course, other various stuff, like the zones are so much bigger in this that the loading zones between areas are few and far between compared to previous games. There's a lot of verticality. They're giving you a lot of rewarding chest locations. They're not just, it's over there on that wall. It's more, hey, look in this nook and cranny. Oh, you're rewarded for getting up here. You're rewarded from checking in this corner. Here, have a chest here. Which is very exciting. It's making the game feel less like a, let's run into the next battle arena. And that's really cool. So, the only other thing to talk about, of course, will be that during the panel held before people could play this Friday, Tetsuya Nomura and co-director Tai Yasue gave some info. They said the theme of KH3 will be about closure. The ending will be emotional. They say it could be tough to handle. And the game does go to darker places at times, but it's still fun with all the various happy worlds we'll be visiting. The content fans make on YouTube about Kingdom Hearts 3 actually helps motivate the team, and they are very much open to criticism and updating the game, and they said that they will be doing fixes to the game based on the impressions at this event, which is very exciting because, you know, Osaka team there are some flaws to some of the things they make, and them being open to changing is great. We saw some of that through the patches that they made to 2.8 with the 0.2 demo, so that's very exciting. And of course, Tetsuya Nomura confirms that they will be revealing the release date of Kingdom Hearts 3 at the beginning of June. Now, a lot of people like to scoff at the whole, oh, it's a release date of the release date, but those people are fucking stupid. What we know is that, hey, they're going to reveal it at E3. Was he supposed to not answer? He's going to be revealing it either at E3 at the Square Enix press conference, I would say most likely. I don't know if Sony's going to get that. Or a couple of days before, on the 9th of June, at the Kingdom Hearts Orchestra. I hope they do it there, because I like the fan-focused stuff. The amount of respect they have for their fans is really great. That would be an amazing gift. And it'd be great if we could, like, get someone with a camera who would, like, react to an entire stadium of people freaking out at that. It would be amazing. Anyway, with that said, KH3 is continuing to look stellar in my opinion, even though I haven't played it, but I have a good idea of what it is like. There are amazing upgrades in presentation, both in graphics, cutscene direction, and voice work, and feels like a true sequel to Kingdom Hearts 2, whereas every other portable game was chasing the quality of Kingdom Hearts 2, coming up a little bit short, but adding additional mechanics to it. This feels like a true sequel in both its presentation, quality of life changes, all that good stuff. Anyway, that's going to do it for this roundup of Kingdom Hearts 3 Premiere preview info. I will either see you guys later this month or the beginning of next month if there's any big news or an interview or anything worth talking about with KH3, but if not, I'll see you around E3 week when we get the big blowout, because of course Nomura said that this is the appetizer. The way he said it is that this event is supposed to get you excited for next month, and I said, dude, I will see you guys next time.